Hey everyone, welcome to this training all about email marketing, your next big small business win. I'm going to be chatting a lot about 2025, what's different this year compared to last year. I'm going to go through essential automations with quick tips on what you can do now to audit your current setup, what changes you might want to make for this year. Going to go through some list growth tips. We are 10 months out from Q4, which feels like ages, but time goes by really quick once you get into it. And I've got some time saving tips and quick wins for you to implement today. So if you take nothing else away, hopefully there are a few kind of insights that you maybe hadn't thought about before that you can kind of implement and get you some results straight away. So let's go into the introductions here. I'm Katie, if we haven't met on Instagram or elsewhere. This is me. I run an e-commerce agency for scaling creative Shopify founders. We are an email-only agency working strictly with Klaviyo. This was also me. I'll just play that again. I had my own e-commerce store for over a decade, specializing in children's craft and art supplies. I designed my own kits, so I was a little bit involved in like manufacturing, dispatch. So I have been where you are now, fulfilling orders at sometimes ungodly hours of the day and the morning. Um, and email marketing was a huge channel for me in connecting with my customers, driving sales, and just like keeping things running for me in the background while I was running ads and developing my own products. So that's how I got started with email marketing. I used it on my own brand. It worked really well for me. And then I just wanted to dive in to learn everything about email marketing. And have slowly transitioned to having my own agency with a team behind me of digital marketing experts specializing in email. So what do we do as an agency? We do Klaviyo setups from scratch. So we bring everyone from MailChimp over to Klaviyo. If you've DIY'd your marketing and it's not quite working the way that you want it to, or you want to be making sure you're getting the most out of Klaviyo as possible. We do audits, ad hoc flow builds. We've got clients on retainer doing monthly management. I do campaign planning quite a bit and writing. So let's just jump into it. Why is email still a must-have for 2025? It's been the kind of buzzword for quite a long time now, the last kind of couple years. So the kind of bigger the list, the more sales you get. When I'll share a quote next in the next slide here, it is the highest ROI channel that you can have for your business. So if you're not putting some effort into email, it'll still work behind the behind the scenes, but imagine if you put that little extra push behind it. So on average, a brand makes kind of £45 for every pound they kind of put in for e-commerce specifically. So yeah, I don't know, look at your ads return and then look at the return you can get from email. They work really well together. So if you are running ads and you're not focusing on email, then I would be turning my attention to that. Why do I love email? It helps you build stronger relationships with your customers. It is your like lifeline to get in touch with them. If you've got something going on with your business, send them a campaign. Say, I'm working on this. Tell me what you think about it. Hit reply, these kinds of things. Sometimes on Instagram, it's a bit like posting into the abyss. You're like, I hope someone's watching this. But emails are your like direct connection with your customers. Email drives consistent sales, even if you have a small list. So no matter how, everyone starts from zero. So no matter how big your list is or how small, sending regular campaigns is a great way to keep in touch, keep you top of mind. If you have peak seasons, you want to make sure you're not being forgotten the rest of the year. And if you make the most of automations behind the scenes, then, you know, email works 24/7 to grow your business, get sales in, talking to your customers through flows while you're busy doing other stuff. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to be covering today. So I've got 4 kind of areas I want to talk about. I'm going to go through the key flows to nurture and retain your audience this year. We'll talk a little bit about planning your campaigns for 2025. I've got a few strategies that you could use to grow your email list. And like I mentioned, I've got some time-saving wins that you could implement today. So let's just start off with covering what's different in 2025. A lot has changed from last year. So you may have remembered in kind of January, February last year, there were all these DMARC regulations. Gmail and Yahoo have changed how they label emails as spam. So there's some new restrictions in place. They're basically putting more emails than ever before into the spam folder. So we want to make sure that our emails are landing in the inbox, which means 2 things. We need to send better emails with better content. So create the email program that you want to be on, essentially. Write the emails you want to receive. We also need to have better segmentation. So no more batch and blast, whatever the phrase is. We are not sending campaigns to our entire list anymore. We are focusing on our engaged subscribers, our engaged customers when we are sending campaigns. Let's chat about flows. So in 2025, there's kind of 2 suggestions. The first one is to front load the first part of your buyer's journey. So I've kind of very loosely mapped this out for you. So we've got at the front of the journey kind of welcome flow. So people land on your website, they get your pop-up, they sign up, they get your welcome flow. They haven't purchased yet. Usually there'll be a split for customers and non-customers in your welcome flow. Maybe they viewed a collection, so they might get your site abandoned or collection abandoned flow. Maybe they view a product and they get your browse abandoned. Maybe they add to cart, they get your abandoned cart. Maybe they start their checkout and they get your abandoned checkout flow. There should be a flow for all of these kind of actions that someone takes to get them to the place order metric. So that is the kind of goal, but obviously the journey doesn't stop with the order. So we want to be focusing on like front loading that first bit as much as possible with automated flows. If you're missing any of those, then add that to the top of your list of things to implement. Obviously, they place an order, and then what comes after? Are you sending them a personalized thank you note from the founder saying how much their business means to you? Do you have a flow triggered once you fulfilled that order and telling them, what do I do next? Here's how to make the most, like get the most out of your product. Here's how to leave a review. Here's how to, here's what you should buy next. And then of course, we're going to have some sort of win back flow that's like, oh, you haven't purchased in a while. Would you like to see what we've recently launched? Or would you like to check out our new arrivals? That sort of thing. So those are the 2 kind of sections of the customer journey we want to focus on. Keeping in touch after their purchase, keeping them engaged till they're ready to purchase again, and then front loading the first half of the journey. So I'm going to go through some of the key flows and what I would check if you haven't looked at your flows in a while. These are a few key things you can kind of audit yourself in your setup. Okay, your welcome flow is where you make a really good first impression. So go into your welcome flow and check if you can tick all these things off. So are your images up to date? There is no point having, and I've specifically chosen a nice cozy blanket photo because it is January, so beginning of the year. And that's really relevant. We are like, let's be cozy. If you have summary imagery or you are still featuring summary products in your welcome flow, make sure you swap those out. So refresh your images if you haven't recently, even if they're not like unseasonal. Make sure you've got your current bestsellers and current on trend items featured in the emails. The next thing you want to do is double check, send the emails as previews to your phone. Double check that you have both the coupon code and the button above the fold. So where you need to like scroll, oh, it's over here. So before people need to scroll, check that you've got that information before they need to scroll. Is the coupon code included in every single email? So I typically set up the welcome flow where people drop out of the flow as they purchase. So every email can say like, don't forget to use your code, or here's your 10% off code, last chance to use your 10% off code, but make sure every email's got that code in there. And do you have a final reminder before your code expires? Last chance to use your code. Okay, let's just group these abandoned cart and abandoned checkout together. For recovering lost sales, you should have separate flows for carts and checkouts though. So let's audit your current setup. Are you sending an email within an hour of their cart being abandoned? This is especially true if you have a lower average order value, £20 to £70. If it's kind of £70 or £100 and up, then you might want to leave it for a couple hours. Are your call to actions action focused? It's a lot of action there. But is it, do they inspire someone to take action or tell them what they need to do next? So can't move my face out of the way here, but take me to checkout, make it mine or make it yours, check my bag, then check out, or check your bag, then check out. I'm ready. Do you have an offer in the flow for first-time customers only? So something to think about there. For your thank you and post-purchase flow, this is where we're going to build loyalty, nurture them, get reviews, that sort of thing. So do you have a personalized thank you from the founder? Are you telling them when their order is on the way? Are you including tips on how they can make the most out of their purchase? So here's an example from a perfume brand. Are there any special tips for using an item for the first time? So an example I like to give is like with candles. For one, they're like a bit on the expensive side. Two, they'll tunnel if you don't get the first burn right. So the whole top of the candle needs to pool with melted wax, so that it burns evenly. So if you don't do that, you are gonna waste a lot of the candle. So that is a really key thing to tell people that might not know if they don't buy expensive candles on a regular basis. Are you requesting a review? Are you telling them what to buy next? So these can all be separate emails, but make sure you're ticking all these boxes here. For your win back, that's where we reignite interest in your products. It's been a while. They have shopped before, but not for a while. So it's typically triggered 3 to 6 months after purchase. Depends how often people come back to buy again. If you have frequently used up products like stationery cards, notebooks, notepads, that kind of stuff, even candles, trigger it closer to the 3-month mark rather than the 6-month mark. If you're more high-end jewelry, then 6 months is probably fine. I would start this flow off by highlighting new products. This can be dynamic. You don't need to update it with your new products all the time. Focus on best-selling features. This flow can be long. It doesn't need to be 2 to 3 emails and stop at that. Take all your best performing evergreen campaigns and put them in here so that you have a time delay of 25, 30 days. And then oh, I'm actually getting in touch with all of my kind of lapsed customers at least once a month to tell them what's happening in my business. You might repeat this new product email, a couple times a year. And those can just go out automatically. So it doesn't, you can make it as long as you want it to be. Here's an example from Bowden. They sent me a £10 off voucher out of the blue. So I'm assuming, and I hadn't shopped with them for a while, so I'm assuming it was kind of in their win back flow. So my kind of key takeaway when it comes to flows is let them do the heavy lifting. This is called continuity marketing, where you are putting in, emails with some time delays so that that you're getting in touch with certain groups of people on a continuous basis over time. I mean, imagine if you had a flow after someone's gone through the welcome flow, or they've signed up, leave a little bit of a gap, and then you have really good emails once every couple of weeks. Put 12 in there or 15 in there, and actually I've got a whole year worth of emails that they might be receiving. Obviously you want to make sure those are up to date, but build out your flows so you don't need to rely as much on campaigns. Speaking of which, Let's chat about campaigns and how to plan them. So, campaign planning in 2025, my biggest kind of tip for you is to plan ahead to save time. Never email on a whim. So, if what you need to do is print out a calendar, stay to the end because there is a link to download an A4 like monthly calendar. You can print out, write on it, use highlighters, make a plan. So, put in your kind of holiday dates, and we'll go through this on the next slide. Holiday dates, product launches, and like fill the gaps so that you are like consistently showing up in people's inboxes. So these are the three kind of pillars for campaigns. So your first one will be like seasonal things, so like Valentine's Day, spring refresh, Mother's Day treats, Valentine's gift guides, that kind of seasonal stuff needs to go in there because you can't just send that anytime. It's like very specific to a certain time of the year. Then the next kind of layer of your campaigns are your product related ones, or like your business related ones. So when are you launching new products? What's best selling or trending right now? When do you have a new collection drop? What are your customers' favorite features of your products? If you don't know, ask them. Send a survey, get some data. And then you've got to fill the gaps with all the kind of community focused, value led emails. So UGC, tags from Instagram, your best kind of reviews or most recent reviews, product tips, polls, surveys, business milestones, that kind of stuff. All the kind of like feel good stuff that like brings people into your brand. So when you break it down, that's essentially 80% of your emails should be kind of value led. 20% should be direct selling, like, I've got this, please buy this, here's a coupon code, or, this is on offer right now. So let's just fill that in. So tips, stories, inspiration, edits, how to style, all that kind of stuff. And then 20% of your emails clear, like, buy this. So if you're planning kind of 4 emails a month, like 4 campaigns a month or 6, try to make like 3 or 4 of them specifically about like building value, building rapport with your audience. And then, 1 or 2 of them like direct selling. So how can you save time when you plan your campaigns as a small business owner? I know you wear tons of hats. I've been there, running my own ads, writing my own emails, packing the orders, working on your PR, SEO, all the things that you need to do. Create templates for emails that you can refresh and repeat. So easy ones to do are like new arrivals, customer favorites, our recent rave reviews. Clone and refresh emails that did well last year. That's like the first place that I start, is like reviewing what worked last year in the same kind of time period, cloning that, updating it, and then see where my gaps are. Or, maybe an idea didn't work really well. I kind of think about, why didn't that work? And try something new and different. I also have a bank of subject lines and examples from other brands that I can take inspiration from, especially when it comes to like layouts or like concepts or angles from other industries. So kind of look outside your niche, like even more important to do that. Look outside at bigger brands with bigger marketing budgets, and also brands like outside of your niche, and look at what kind of emails they're sending. And if it inspires you with a new idea, then amazing. Okay, let's chat about new subscribers and how you can grow your list this year. So there's a few kind of main things. I mentioned it at the top of the training. 10 months till Q4. It's time to grow your list. Do not leave it till October and then you're like, oh, I've got to work on my list growth. Pick something you can implement every quarter of the year. So what's going to be your Q1 like initiative to grow your list? Pick one of the ideas I'm about to talk about. What's going to be your Q2? If you don't put it on your list and like put some energy towards it, you're not actually going to do it. So what gets measured gets managed, or something along that. So track your list growth, but also make a conscious effort to put it on your to-do list to grow your list. So let's go through. We've got optimize your current sign-up forms, test new types of opt-ins, and make sure you're turning your followers into subscribers. So optimizing your current sign-up form. So whatever you've got set up, check it. Is the header image still relevant? If you have seasonal products, like, are you promoting the next kind of occasion to shop for in your creative on your form? Is it very clear from like first glance what the offer is? I mean, this unlock 10% off is not big enough for me. Like, if I squint, it like barely stands out. So auditing your current forms, setting up A/B tests, like what one thing could I change? I mean, the first thing I would test on this Le Creuset form would be having like unlock 10% off bigger and testing if that makes a difference. Their customer, and I'm just guessing, is like their, items are on the pricier side. So people have money. They probably are people that, as someone who owns some Le Creuset items, like their quality, they're also investment pieces, and people that take pride in their cooking and like presentation. Imagine like pulling out a nice like Le Creuset casserole from the oven when you've got friends over and be like, here you go, and like put it on the table, and you're not embarrassed by like the chipped pan or casserole pot you've got. It's like, oh, it's Le Creuset. So look for inspiration from other brands with big marketing budgets. It's like such an easy win. Like, look at what their forms look like. Can you take some of their kind of learnings? Prioritize your mobile formats and test your call to actions. This is like a really easy thing to do. Like, sign up is a little bit, at least for me, a little bit on the safe side. Subscribe, but you'll see some of the examples I've got in the next slide are along those lines. So maybe they do work for those brands. You don't know unless you test it. So sorry, there's one more slide before those examples. Test the water with different opt-ins. So you don't need to run 10% off all year long. So maybe you want to try doing a giveaway for a gift card instead for one of the months or a couple of the months. That's something that you could try in Q4 when people are already landing on your site ready to buy. Maybe it's that you are doing a draw, or maybe you're running like a draw for a giveaway for like existing customers to sign up for. You could test percentage off versus pounds off. Again, if you haven't A/B tested that in the past, now is a good time of year to put that in, set that up, and see which one is actually a better offer for your audience. Another way to grow your list as well is offering early access for a product launch. This works really well for a brand that I work with. So whether it's early access to Black Friday, early access to a launch, especially stuff is limited in number, works really well. So let's just walk through a couple of these examples I've got here. So my favorite one right now is this: win a pair of Bobby boots. This is Merry People. They are an Australian rubber boot brand that has really aggressive Facebook and Instagram ads. They obviously haven't tracked that I've placed an order, because every day my feed is full of these colorful boots. But the thing about them is that, okay, so they are a no discount brand ever. And they say that straight up front. I think it's even in their navigation why we don't ever discount. But because their boots come in literally every color of the rainbow, people that own their boots want them in multiple colors. So it's not even like they've built a great product. I mean, I have the black ones and I'm already like, ooh, wouldn't it be nice to have a bright blue or like lilac pair? So they know their customers want more of what they already have. This is their best-selling style. So they are, giving away a pair of boots. And I can see why that's really attractive for people. Stripe and Stare is that sustainable knicker brand. Pajamas are a secondary product for them. So at least for me, it's quite interesting that they're leading with not their hero products, and maybe they want people to discover like, oh, they also do pajamas. Comfort Incoming, get 10% off. So 10% off for me is like a secondary benefit of signing up to their newsletter. Subscribe to email, subscribe. Anthropology is the only one with their logo on the form, which is quite interesting. also that they've got the X on the left, which feels very counterintuitive. Typically, the X is on the right. So that could be a conscious decision to have it on the left because people typically go here and then they're more, I don't know, maybe they're more likely to click the buttons. But they've added an extra step for you to go through. So I'm sure they've tested this, whether this is the right approach. Asking off the bat, do you want this? Do you want this? You do need to give them your phone number as well. So it's not only it's email, it's birthday, it's phone number. It's like a lot of things to get 10% off, but a little bit of a sign up form audit there for you. Okay, the last one is to turn your followers into subscribers. So this is an easy one, like whatever task management system you use. Just set yourself a recurring reminder to post something like this, like become a subscriber. Here's what's waiting for you on the other side, so like perks of being on the list. And then a little link tag from Instagram, taking them to a landing page where they can sign up. So use your link in bio, use stories to drive traffic, do it on a regular basis, whether it's every week, every other week, once a month. You can run a contest or giveaway that pushes people to sign up. So they need to sign up to a list in order to enter. So that's another good, like, fun thing to do in October in the run up to Christmas. All right, let's go through some quick wins. So I've put together kind of my best time-saving tips when it comes to email marketing. I've covered a few ideas already, so hopefully there's lots to kind of get stuck into. How to write subject lines that absolutely kill it, how to use templates, and following up with your audience. Okay, so subject lines, a few key things to kind of keep in mind to create subject lines that convert the best. Keep it short, like 3 to 7 words maximum. Emojis in moderation. I have done a lot of testing on this. I never put emojis in at the beginning of the subject line. For one, it's like a huge spam like trigger thing. And then I've tested like multiple emojis versus one. The thing that seems to work the best is to have the subject line nice and short with a little supporting emoji on the end, or using one emoji in the preview text. Keep in mind the 3 emotions that you want to like address and inspire in your customer with your subject line. So you either want to spark curiosity, like, ooh, I need to open this email to find out what they're talking about. You want to build excitement. So your subject line is so exciting that they're like, I have to know more. Or you want to create FOMO. So like, oh, I better read this email because I don't want to miss out on something. If you are stuck on writing subject lines, lean into your favorite virtual robotic assistant and ask them, tell them what you're writing an email about, who it's for, what your customers are. If you've got like a trained assistant, this is a lot quicker. Give me 100 or 10 or 20 even subject lines and preview text combinations. I promise you one of them will be like, oh, that is so good. Yeah, I never do 100, but 10 or 20 is a good place to start. Okay, my kind of favorite tip is to use templates. I'm a huge fan of templates. I do have a plug and play Klaviyo template in my template shop if you're struggling to get Klaviyo emails to look nice. All emails are just building blocks. They're just the same kind of elements stacked on top of each other in different orders. They all kind of have the same foundation. So a master template, one with different sections that you can mix and match while you're building your emails, is a really great time saver. I use Canva. I've created templates in my Canva, which I walk you through when you get the plug and play template, but create templates to save time. If you're doing something that you're like, I know I'm going to use this again, like set it up in a way that it's easy to clone and adapt for your next email. Use your templates as building blocks. So I mentioned earlier in the training, if you have types of emails that you tend to repeat, save that as a template and make sure that Some of the elements are universal content. So if you happen to update one and you have that same footer, for example, across all your templates, it updates together. But yeah, I have kind of my most frequently repeating campaign ideas saved as a template so that they're easy to build. So here's some screenshots from Jones Road just to kind of highlight, like, when you use templates and all the elements are the same and repeat, your emails have like continuity and form, and customers recognize them instantly. So think about the kind of elements you want to use and make sure they're kind of repeating across. It also just saves design time when you use the same things over and over again. Okay, my last time saving tip here is to always follow up. When you launch a product or a collection, send one or two or more follow-up emails to say, did you see what we just launched? Here's what people are saying about our recent launch. Here's what's running low from our launch. Always follow up. People are so busy. So make sure you've got that. Any limited time offer, so flash sales, any sales, if you've got a January sale running, when is that going to end? Make sure you say you've got 1 week left to shop the sale. Now I'm doing 3 for 2, 2 for 3, whichever is the bundle offer. Now running on whatever's left in the sale, last 24 hours to shop. Make sure you're telling people when stuff ends. If you have a discount code in any flow, make sure you've got a final email that says, your code is about to expire. And after they purchase, make sure you're telling them and following up with what to buy next. So let's just wrap it up. These are the kind of key things that I went through. So build out your flows so that they can do the heavy lifting, which means you don't need to send as many campaigns, because as long as your campaigns are sending people back onto your website, viewing collections, viewing products, adding things to cart, then they'll be going down your flows at the same time. So if you're always focusing on getting people back up to the top and back onto your website, then you can relax a little bit, because you know that they're also getting other emails in the flow. So think about that and which flows you can build out a little bit more with some extra content. When it comes to your campaigns, my biggest tip is just repurpose what worked before and fill in the gaps with new ideas. Always be testing, always be trying new things. For number 3, 10 months to go until Q4, so make a plan on how you're going to grow your list. And number 4, save time with templates. So spending that little bit of extra time to put together a few templates will save you loads of time later. All right, so this is my last kind of slide. If you are watching on desktop, grab your phone, scan the QR code. That will take you to a page on my website with a whole bunch of freebies. There's one about my favorite ChatGPT prompts. There's another training on Black Friday in there. There's a checklist, calendar template. So pick your favorite freebie and download it, implement it. I'd also love to know what you thought of this training on Instagram. So connect with me there. I'd love to chat, email with you. And yeah, like I said at the top of the call, if there is any bit or any part of Klaviyo that's tripping you up, if you set things up and they're not quite performing the way that you were hoping, I would love to hop on an audit with you, or hop on an intro call and see if we can solve something together. Or if you're ready to just hand over your email marketing or work with us with your campaign planning and flow strategy, then send me a message. I'd love to chat more. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch up with you all soon. Bye.